Hey everyone, welcome back to Adulting with Micah. So on today's episode, I wanted to talk to you all about student loans. Yes, student loans. It's a very interesting topic right now, especially with the recent news from the Biden administration and them moving forward with forgiving upwards of $20,000 if you qualify for student loan forgiveness. And I wanted to share my story as someone who had to pull out loans for not only undergraduate school, but also graduate school. It's really easy to get into debt. It's very sad actually how easy it is to sign off your name, your social security, your family legacy potentially in the stroke of a pen. But I'll speak from my perspective. And so a little something about me, I had to pay off about $120,000. Yes, let that sink in. About $120,000 of student loan debt from beginning in fall of 2007 and my journey ending in May of 2020. So just a little bit of story time. This all goes back to me attending undergraduate school in 2007, in fall 2007 at the University of California, Berkeley. Go Bears. And so during fall 2007, I received a financial aid package. And so just a little bit of context about me. I'm from South Central Los Angeles. UC Berkeley's in the Bay Area. So I have no family there, no friends. But that would require me to having to leave the LA area to move to the Bay Area. So off top, I knew I was gonna have to pull out loans for housing. So I received my financial aid package and I didn't really understand it. And so from there, I spoke with my mom, and our financial aid package was based off of my mother's income at the time. And so for our family, I grew up in a single parent household. So my mother raised 4 of us by herself on her single salary. And so no, not all of us went to college, but it didn't mean that necessarily my mom could afford to send me to college. And that is a big piece of this puzzle that sort of kind of got us to where we are with my student loan debt. And so when I flew to the Bay Area, I ended up going to the financial aid office, and I was speaking to one of the admission directors at the time. And I had asked her, I said, could you please explain to me this financial aid package? Because I'm seeing a lot of loans, I'm seeing Parent Plus loans, because I didn't go there on a scholarship, most of the debt that I would have to take out to pay for tuition and room and board was going to be mostly through loans. Every semester that I would just electronically sign my signature away, there was probably about 20 pages, 30 pages of documents and lots of things in fine print that I didn't read, because I knew at the end of the day, in order for me to register for tuition, in order for me to pass this class for this semester so I can get my degree and get the heck up out of here, this would require me to sign off and affirm that I will be responsible for all these loans. For that fall 2007 semester, one of the things that I had to do was I had to speak with my mom, and a big line item was that she would have to sign off a $13,000 Parent Plus loan. And that was probably one of the hardest conversations my mom and I had to have. And I explained to her, I remember calling her and talking to the financial aid officer, because she's in LA, I'm in the Bay, I'm trying to talk business to this financial aid officer and making sure that my mom fully understands what it is I have to do, because no one in my family ever moved away to go to college. And so this was a new experience for us. And so because of that, we were just sort of figuring it out. And I explained to my mom, I said, hey, in order for me to even move in order for me to register for classes, you gotta can you please sign this Parent Plus loan? And so my mom explained to me, she said, look, you're gonna learn this and I'm gonna teach you this because no one else is gonna tell you this. This is your debt. This isn't my debt. This is your debt. This is your educational / college experience, which means you're gonna have to pay it back. And you're not gonna pay it back once you graduate. You're going to find a job when you get there, and your first bill is going to be due October 1st. So mind you, this is, let's say, middle of late August. And so I was like, okay, this is exciting, but also too in the back of my mind, I'm like, I gotta find a job. So fast forward, my mom signs off on the Parent Plus loan. I'm able to start to register for classes. And I remember once I was moved into my dorm and settled in, I go back to the financial aid office and I say, hey, I need a job because I have to start paying back my loans. And this same financial aid officer is like, oh, your mom wasn't playing with you. I said, oh, no. I said, in order for me to stay here, I need to get a job and start paying back my student loans. One of the big reasons why my mom urged me to begin paying back the loan was because she understood the power of compound interest. I remember making a payment of $200 towards the $13,000 loan. And I remember being in shock that instead of me seeing the balance move from $13,000 to $12,800, it was still like hovering at like, $12,950. And when I saw the statement balance from me paying my money, it showed that a large chunk of that $200 went towards interest. And so I called my mom. I'm like, hey, I just made a payment, but it's not going down. She says, yeah, that's interest. That's how all this works. There's the principal, your $13,000, and then there's your interest, which was like, let's say, I don't remember it at the time, but let's say 5%. And so every day that loan is open, you can anticipate 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%. And I was like, oh my gosh. I said, so this loan is going to balloon out of control. She said, exactly. And that's why I need you to start paying it back now. And so when my mother explained that to me, I was like, what? This is like, why doesn't everybody know this? And so that was pretty much the start of everything. With me pulling out loans. So for that semester, for that fall semester, we pulled out about $13,000 in student loans. And that's sort of how the journey began. And I just wanted to at least share that component of this is how the student loan process starts. You get people like me and my family who we didn't necessarily talk about finances at the dinner table. We didn't necessarily talk about the possibility of saving for college. I had no college fund saved up, but the situation we ended up in was, okay, if this is the experience you want to have, if this is the school you want to go to, then here is the sort of options that you have. And simply, for my mom, at least to me, if you want to stay at this school and come back in spring semester, then you are going to have to find a job, be a full-time student, and also work part-time, because this is all about responsibility. And what had helped during the time was, I would say I probably pulled out the most debt my freshman year, because over time, the amount of student loans I had to pull out for my sophomore, junior, and senior year, it went down. And largely it was because I was a resident assistant. And so I actually have a video that we will post in this box right over here for you to click on and to take a look. And it actually shows 5 ways and tips that I used to reduce the amount of student loan debt that I pulled out during undergrad. In its totality, I ended up pulling out about $40,000 in student loans for the 4 years, which in today's economy, I'm sure $40,000 for an undergraduate education is probably a drop in the bucket at this point, and it's definitely a lot more desirable to take that $40,000 than probably what it costs today to go to undergrad. But I will say part of it was me working 2 to 3 jobs each semester just to make sure that I was covering my bases and taking that money and paying towards my student loans. I do want to say that before I did graduate, I ended up paying off that $13,000 Parent Plus loan before I graduated from Cal. So that was a really cool moment for me and my mom to share, because at least I got the debt down. Her credit score was impacted, but we were able to just show consistency in payments. So for 2 years between 2011 and 2013, I worked at a nonprofit in the Bay Area. And so I just pretty much worked. I tried to get as many shifts as I could. I used that 2-year period to just save up, live in the Bay Area, figure out what I wanted to do next. And then simultaneously, I was paying that debt down. And so before applying to graduate school in 2013, I was able to finish paying off all my student loan debt from Berkeley, which was really awesome. And so from there, I was like, yes, I'm done. Now I can apply to graduate school and not feel as guilty, because just carrying one debt from one institution over to another, I just wanted to be completely done with undergrad. So fast forward to now fall 2013, and I decided to go to graduate school in New York City. And I couldn't just go to any graduate school in New York City. I had to go to an Ivy League. So I ended up going to Columbia University for my graduate school experience. And I think a lot of it too at the time was just coming from where I came from, not a lot of people get out of my hometown, let alone go to New York City and get into an Ivy League. There's not that many of us. And so I definitely think I fell into this sort of experiential trap where it's just you have this once in a lifetime offer. Who gets an opportunity to fly, to move across the country, go to an Ivy League? I've been a public school kid my entire life. And so I think because of that, I wanted to also secretly not only prove to myself, but prove to my community, prove to people that look like me that, look, you can be from your neighborhood. You might not have grown up with maybe all of the fanciest things or been a part of, these social clubs and organizations, but you can still make it out and you can still be in school with some of the best that are out there, and your background shouldn't have anything to do with it. That was my mindset. And so because of that, that desire to want to kind of, be at an Ivy League school, it costs Ivy League money, okay? And it was Ivy League money that I didn't have. So thankfully the program was only 2 years, but my goodness, when I got there in fall of 2013, graduated in spring of 2015, I walked away with about $80,000 in debt. And it was wild because here I am at Cal for a 4-year public school degree. That was about $40,000. Fast forward, I'm in a 2-year program and it's about $80,000 for half the time. And did I know any of that? No. I really thought I was gonna get a 1-for-1, maybe it'll be a little bit more expensive, but no, graduate school was expensive. Also too, being at the type of school I was, which Columbia is an Ivy League school, so you're paying an Ivy League dollar for that. And then also too, you're in New York City. So all of those factors had played into the amount of debt that I had to pull out. And so from there, I just wanted to just let you all know this is how I got into about $120,000 in student loan debt. Part of breaking down this video, I started off my student loan journey in fall of 2007. I didn't end until May of 2020 during the pandemic. So it took many years to get there. If you've had a journey with pulling out student loan debt, please feel free to share it in the comment section below, because I do believe that collectively we're suffering in silence. I feel like we need to normalize the fact that people do have debt, whether it's higher education, whether it's credit cards, even home debt and things like that, and personal loans and things like that. And so rather than us sitting and like pointing the finger and shaming, let's just acknowledge where we are, and let's come up with some solutions on how we can get out to the other side and, you know, fix our situations. And so that is really what adulting is all about. And so I just want to say thank you so much for taking time to sit with me and allow me to share my journey with you. I would also love to hear your journey, and, you know, let's see what we could do to help each other, you know, make the necessary changes that we are all hoping to see, so that we can all live a financially free life. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Share this video if you care. And I look forward to talking with you at our next video. Take care.